Excerpts from the Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, going beyond the three forces of nature. Beyond time, space, and circumstances to the place where mind is tranquil and ego disappears. It is I, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, who instills the seed of all births into the vast womb of nature, Prakriti. Nature, in turn, gives birth to the infinitely diverse temperaments of all creatures. Everything that is born, Arjuna, comes from this subtle union of spirit and nature. Whatever forms are produced in any of the wombs of the universe, know that my nature, Prakriti, is the cosmic mother of all creation, and that I am the seed-giving father. Gunas, three strands of nature. All life evolves from the differentiating powers of the three forces, or strands, of nature. Sattva, which is purity, light, and calmness. Rajas, which is passion or action. And tamas, which is ignorance, darkness, inertia. How the three gunas make you behave. Everyone, Arjuna, has all three forces within them in differing proportions and will, as I have mentioned, exhibit the type of behavior that is in accord with their predominating gunas. Thus, the gunas explain why you think, feel, speak, and act as you do. This is the entire map. The sattvic person, a rare type, will be calm and harmonized. Rajasic persons, typically the majority, are full of restless energy. Tamasic people, also quite common, will be lethargic, indolent, and unmotivated to act. The word guna also means strand in a directly literal sense. Gunas are forces that weave together to form a strong rope that binds the self, atma, the soul, to one's worldly body and thus to life, death, and rebirth. The objective of life. The objective of life is to reshape one's character upward in pursuit of a higher ideal, changing from indolence or inertia, tamas, into passionate effort, rajas, and then channeling that into calmness, sattva. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. Of these forces, sattva, being pure, provides an unobstructed view of atma. But even here, a problem can arise when one finds pleasure in sacred knowledge and begins yearning for it. Any pleasure, even good pleasure, creates attachment and subsequent desire. All attachments, even golden ropes, bind the individual, the jiva, to the pain and sadness of the material world. Rajas. Desireful action is the very nature of rajas, the second guna. Desire goads one into action and creates a sense of doership in the mind. It spawns a thirst for acquiring and a clinging to worldly things, to people and sensations that attract the senses. As fuel feeds fire, rajas breeds attachment to action and its fruit. This attachment turns on itself, bringing greed and greed's close relative, anger. Tamas. Tamas, literally darkness, is saturated with ignorance and instills nothing but indolence and stupor. This guna bewilders people, stealing their capacity for work, their rajasic energy, as well as their composure, their sattvic calmness. So, Arjuna, over the course of a day, all three gunas ebb and flow within each person. Signs of predominating gunas. One should be aware of which guna predominates. I'll describe some of the signs. When sattva rises, it is as if the light of the true self is shining out through all your gates, your senses. Your seeing is sharper, hearing is more acute, and thinking and actions are steadier and more precise. When rajas takes over your personality, it is as if impatience, greed, and longing have sprung to the forefront, as if your own restlessness is compelling you to action. Tamas has taken charge when your mind feels lazy, bewildered, and uncaring. Always seek higher movement. Misery or suffering that accompanies desire-driven action motivates one towards betterment. I repeat, Arjuna, always seek to move to the next higher level, from tamas to rajas to sattva, because the consequences of the various actions are clear. But also know that the anger and pain of driven, rajasic people may be heaven sent, because nothing motivates a person to mend his or her ways like the misery that accompanies desire-driven action. Suffering is the training ground where one shapes good character and right conduct, which is dharmic action. It is dharma, living a truth-based life, that lifts one to the serenity of sattva. Those who live in sattva rise upwards, whether in this world or the next. Those stuck in rajas stay in the middle, ever caught up in earthly activity. Those mired in tamas sink even further. All things in nature are permutations of the three strands. The purpose of life is to transcend nature and be liberated from the cycle of rebirth. Remember, Arjuna, the gunas are nature, prakriti, and all actions, whether sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic, take place in nature. All things in nature are just permutations of the three strands of the guna forces. Even the mind, senses, and objects that attract the senses are permutations of these three. The purpose of earthly life, as I have said, is to outgrow the two inferior gunas and to reach the serenity of sattva, and then ascend beyond even sattva. The person who climbs beyond all three guna states is in essence transcending nature itself, and is thereby freed of the natural body, and is thus liberated from the awful cycle of birth, decay, death, and rebirth. This person enters the realm of pure consciousness and attains the supreme bliss of my being, Brahman, the Godhead. How to transcend the gunas? Those who transcend the gunas are essentially watchers beyond the worldly. They feel no attraction or aversion to any of the gunas, no desire even for the calm joy of sattva or for the excitement of rajas. They have nothing to gain by adhering to any of these earthly behaviors and nothing to lose by turning from them. While the waves of guna forces ebb and flow, these transcended persons remain calm, steady, unaffected, unconcerned, and unmoved. As they do not tie their moods to the guna-created circumstances, they cease being uplifted or depressed by their own likes or dislikes. To the transcended person, dualities mean nothing, and all is equal. Thus, balanced in the face of pleasure and pain, these yogis are no longer a party to the machinations of the three forces within nature and in the body. They dwell always within self, atma. Dualities such as pleasure and pain, praise and blame, no longer have any meaning. As they are established in this attitude of holy indifference, to them lumps of clay, stone, or gold are all the same. They have progressed beyond time, space, and circumstance to the place where the mind is tranquil and ego disappears. Transcending the gunas through yoga. The way to traverse the gunas is through the steadfast practice of the three paths, yogas, I have prescribed, through devotion to the divine, bhakti yoga, faithful service to divinity, karma yoga, and constant awareness of this same divinity in all others and in everything you do, jnana yoga. Finally, beloved Arjuna, be always cognizant that I, the Divine One, am the foundation of both the manifested and unmanifested Godhead.